Oh, God. I gotta laugh. All right, David. It's Friday, and I gotta tell you, I am utterly just smiling. You know why I'm smiling? Because it's Friday. All right, everybody. When you thought it was a twisted broadcast on the previous rant on Wednesday, we're going to shock you yet again. I sat here and drove in a message that the reason why we have all these problems is frankly just because of us. We're the reason why we have these problems. When we look at World War II or the 1930s, which I've been bringing up for 5 years, we sort of run with the ideology that the Jews at that time, were very assimilated and very crisp and felt that this wasn't going to expand and it's just a little bit of nothing. And from a little bit of nothing grew into a whole lot of carnage, death, destruction, as we now call the Holocaust. Here we are at 2025, and for the last several years, we're sort of dealing with the same escalation that was here just nearly 100 years ago. Welcome, everybody, to the Rant Network. This is your go-to podcast for an unfiltered, unapologetic discussion. Hosted by myself, Stuart Brisgell, and my partner in crime, David Solomon. For the last 5 years, we've tackled a diverse range of topics and a very candid, bold conversation and opinion. Whether it's breaking down the latest headlines, exploring pop culture, debating politics, or delving into complexities of modern life, this is a platform for every perspective. Grab a seat, settle in. This journey's going to get rocky. But when I started off by saying, this is like Groundhog Day, or I'm a hamster in a wheel, or rules for me and not for thee, I go on and on and on with these silly, silly cliches, some of which annoy some people. And then sometimes I use vernacular that offends other people. And in the latest broadcast, I mentioned that I sort of blew up and targeted those people are the sole reason why we are in the situation where we're in. And historically, that's how things actually happened. And being an ostrich, putting your hand in the sand, yelling and screaming because of one issue, two issues, I don't like this person, so let's just be against the entire world, just doesn't work anymore. And David, again, I said our friends, maybe more your friends than my friends, maybe because I don't have any friends, maybe your family because, hey, I don't have a big family. But here we are, Friday, with the Toronto Film Festival wanting to do what about October 7th film?
Once again, Canada shows its understanding of sensitivity. The Toronto International Film Festival is one of the big film festivals around the world. It's not quite Cannes, but it's pretty serious. And it loves to promote itself as being that, that we get into that human story, those big things, those deep things, and, what life is, and all those kind of artsy things that I'm not into. But this past week, Stuart, once again, another Canadian organization showed its true colors. Bold-face anti-Semitism. Bold-face anti-Israel stance. Now, listen, you could be against the Israeli government. I understand. I had a conversation with someone last night, Stuart, who asked me if I agree with the Netanyahu government. I said, that is the right question. Not am I anti-Israel, not do I agree with Israel is doing is wrong. It's a government thing. Just like, am I against Trump or am I against America? It's not the same thing. But the world has decided everything is one big lump of clay. And when it comes to Israel, everything goes. All rules are off the table, and everything's on the table. So when the Toronto International Film Festival decided this past week that it will not air a movie called The Road Between Us, The Ultimate Rescue, a story of a retired general, Noam Tibon, whose mission it was to rescue his family during the October 7th Hamas attacks, the film organizers said the reason they can't show it was because the filmmaker, Barry Average, the director, did not get Hamas's permission. This goes beyond everything. I have heard of stupid excuses, Stuart. But this one?
Okay.
Now, no, hold on. No. In the last week, in the last week in Canada, let me give you two other incidents that shows you where we have completely lost our mind. And by the way, Canada is a microcosm of what goes on in the world. This isn't. I'm not saying we're the beacon. I'm just saying examples. I spoke about last week about the Pride Parade denying the Jewish organizations to march. Ga'ava, the Jewish gay community was not allowed to march, and then due to government pressure, public pressure, sponsor pressure, okay, but you can't have Israeli flags. Fine, I get it. Meanwhile, we walked around with, if you looked on Monday, we had an Israeli flag, but it was the gay flag, the pride flag from Israel. Now, you may have seen also floating around the web that a religious Jewish man was beaten up in front of his two children in Montreal by a 23-year-old, allegedly. Let's do that stupid shit. Okay. And his lawyer's excuse as to why this person beat him up. It was very hot in Montreal. It was a heat wave in Montreal. It got to him. What's wrong? Why are we letting Jew hatred become whatever goes, whatever you say goes? Now, we've gotten pressure from different levels, and it's good to see that there are people, and we've talked about it. So you started by, where are the people? Why are they so quiet? But Stuart, we've seen this quiet when Huda Katan, who has the Huda line, when she posts on TikTok to her more than 11 million followers that Israel is orchestrated, get this, World War I, World War II, September 11th, and the Hamas attacks on October the 7th. Now, and Sephora is going, we'll still sell her products. What happened to Roseanne Barr when she talked about bananas and gorillas? What happened to all these people who made those comments? They got fired in a New York minute. But not here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, no. So why are we tolerating this? Now, by the way, one thing I heard this morning on the radio, very interesting, out of Toronto, was that these commentators who were talking about the absurdity of this said, oh yeah, by the way, there's a lot of security, and you have more security there than at an airport. And it's kind of like, is anybody awake to this? Has anybody realized what we've gotten to here? Stuart, we cannot go to events, a Jewish event in Canada, in many parts of the world. We can't, let me try this again. We don't know the location of these events because we have to keep it hidden from our enemies who are trying to attack us, despite court orders, police orders, you name it. So people don't know where to go. And I met a gentleman, a government official in Montreal here, who said to me, he goes, David, don't you know where we're going? I said, no. And I explained to him why. And he looked at me and goes, well, that's stupid. I said, well, can you please tell your government to fix the problem then? Because this is our new normal. Beat up the Jew, attack the Jew, rewrite history about Jews, and it's okay. You're on mute.
I'm not on mute anymore. David, let me say that I'm very happy I live in the state of Florida. I'm very happy that Governor DeSantis made a law that if these Hamas protesters start blocking the streets, you can run them over, and it's not illegal. Why was that statement so profound? And yes, little boy Carney with his 3 passports and failing to show his financials never bothered to have a comment against that. You know why? Because maybe deep down Carney knows that's what really should happen. Maybe that he should engage his police force to bring his country back into line, that the absurdity of the small percentiles that are driving this narrative need to be put back into the Stone Ages where they actually want to belong and where they want to be. And the fascination that people come to North America or the Western world for the Judeo-Christian principles that it has and has always had, and want to make it like the, I don't know, desert in which they've come, is the most moronic thought in the world. In fact, I don't get it. I don't get the ideology on why you want to come to this country. Makes no sense to me. You love it so much in your country. Like I said, we've said many times about our Somalian Wonder Woman, who's like the squad queen. You know, go back to where you came. It's so good where you are, the way it is, then why bother coming here? What is here that's so alluring other than the Judeo-Christian roots, the history, the robust lifestyle that we want to live, the freedom to choose? You know, everyone makes fun of Florida or United States from Canada because of the guns, because of our attitude. I'm sorry. I think the attitude is earned. I think the attitude is merited. And I think the lack of fortitude that all these Canadians seem to have is where slap in the face, here you go. Oh, Americans are welcome anywhere. That's nonsense. That's utter nonsense. Who wants to go to Canada?
But you see, you did it again. I wasn't talking about Canada. I was talking about the West. And you have this real sucker hard-on for Carney. It was Trudeau for years, and now you're a Carney, but you're missing the point. This is going on in France. This is going on in England. This is going on in Australia. Yep. This is going on in Spain. This is going on in Portugal. This is going on in so many Western countries. I said Australia. Oh. And yet, the public doesn't want to react. The public, Stuart, I'll give you an example and what they're letting go. On the day that the Jewish man was assaulted here in Montreal, Mark Carney posted on Twitter about cats. He posted it in Canada. He didn't. 24 hours later, he put up a vanilla statement. Allegedly, a Muslim woman was assaulted on a bus in Ottawa. It didn't take 24 hours to post. We know what it is. We know where their love affair is. We know who they're in bed with. We know where the federal governments of all these countries are in bed with. And God help us that only Donald Trump is sitting here right now, hoping and helping Jews, because other countries are abandoning Jews. And you know what, Stuart? Yeah, I know about the rhetoric about hating America, and I know all the rhetoric, and I know all the rhetoric, and I know all the rhetoric. But when you call it out and you realize, you know what? The only place right now safe for Jews is in the southern parts of the southeastern, south central U.S. It's not anywhere else in the West right now. It's amazing to believe that. And if you go back, folks, a couple of years ago to rants, I was the one who said, no, don't go there, guns, shit like that. I'm sorry. This is the world, and Stuart's giving himself a high five right now. The world has shifted again. It shows its ugly face. It pretends to be tolerant. It pretends to be inclusive. It pretends about diversity, but it depends on who's in the room. If a Jew is there, you're not welcome. That's what we've become. This is what the world is accepting. No wonder people are moving away, Stuart. We're watching slowly the people departing. Look at France right now. Many have left and are wondering, hey, where went to the Jews? Same thing is starting to happen in England and other countries. It will happen here in Canada too. And one day they're going to wake up and going, where are the Jews? We're going to be gone.
Florida.
Yeah. We're going to be gone. Because this kind of intolerance, I am tired. Listen, I am tired. I am very tired of having to go through security. I did it again over the weekend. I did it again in other events. I have to walk around with photo ID. Now, I know you still do, and everybody should have photo ID, but I can't go into an event. I can't. We have gone off the deep end, and we're tolerating it.
Billy Joel, not a lover of the Republican Party, moreover, not of Donald Trump, went on stage and his right post after October the 7th, wearing a Jewish star on the front and back.
There's a yellow star on top of it all, by the way.
A yellow star, in reminiscent of his family that was massacred during the Holocaust.
Listen, you know what, Stuart? You know what's sad, Stuart? You don't even have to be a practicing Jew. You don't have to be anything. As long as you're identified as a Jew. Now, where does this sound like? Who does this sound like? As long as you're identified as a Jew, you're guilty. Who said that?
Who said that, David?
You tell me, Stuart. Do you know who said that?
Who said that?
That was Hitler. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. As long as you can find out that if it was good enough for Hitler, this is the insanity of what we're dealing with. We're doing this all over again. Stuart, wrap it up, please.
You know, as you've now abruptly ended it without me saying anything, but I'm saying it brings this episode to a close. Yay! Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern, 12, we throw this down at you with also dozens of little mini podcasts that float around the internet, bouncing around, little 30-second snippets. We see you see them, we see you like them, and even so often we get some comments on them. On YouTube, you grab us. On Facebook, until they delete us. Please, guys, check our website out. Grab our podcast, download them for your Amazon account, and we love